Hi everybody, it's Colette Baron-Reid and welcome to this week's mini lesson. And we are going to be just talking about getting to know your deck. So when you first open your Oracle card deck, I want you to imagine that you're in a partnership with this thing, right? It's a tool, it's a communication device, and it's alive. And you are thanking it in advance for being a supportive partner to you. That's what you're doing. You're saying, I am going to use you, you're going to help me, and I'm going to talk to the divine through you. Thank you. So I always like to approach it with a sense of gratitude and curiosity. What do you have to offer me? Now, you're going to next want to review your cards. So let's use Spirit Animal, my very popular deck, Spirit Animal. And it's a theme of spirit animals, right? So you're going to look at the cards. So like here's Wombat Spirit. You're going to spend a little time looking at them before you use them. I always like to look through every single card of a deck that I get new so I can see and get a feel for them just by being in their presence. There's Dog Spirit, one of my favorite cards. There is Badger Spirit. I love this card too. So, and I'll just pick another one randomly. Oh, Skunk Spirit. Isn't that funny? They're all black and white. And Pig Spirit. Yay! So you want to spend some time and look at every single card. Yes, you do. You want to get to know your deck. Why? Because it's going to be your partner. It's going to be your communication device, and you're going to want to know what it says. So look at the art, get a feel for it, and just take some time. Next, here's what you have to do. I know that there are people who buy Oracle card decks and say, oh, I never read the guidebook. I don't understand that, okay? Like, you have to read the guidebook. The point of this, especially with Oracle cards, maybe you don't need to read a guidebook when it comes to the tarot because you know them by heart and they're always going to have the fixed system to work with. But Oracle cards are different. Every single card deck, even if it's by the same author, is going to be different. And so you need to read the introduction in the guidebook. Like here's mine. Why did this person do this card deck? What did they want you to get out of it? Remember that the intention of the author is also really important to how you receive what's in the deck. So like I have Welcome Seeker and I write different things every time. They're going to be a little similar because I'm an Oracle creator. So I'm always creating new Oracle decks. So there's an introduction. They'll usually say like, what's an Oracle card deck? Well, maybe you already know what it is, so you don't read that. But why this deck? This is one right here. So I talked in the Spirit Animal card deck. I tell you why I did it and what I want it to do for you. What is the purpose of this deck? So you go in knowing, this is really what the author desired for me. You start there. Eventually, you'll have a deeper, more personal experience with the Oracle cards that you've chosen. But initially, you need to know what the purpose was. Why were they created? Like, why did the author create this specific deck? Why did they include the things that they included? What's the symbolism? So whatever that author, not every author goes into great detail. As you can tell, my Oracle guidebooks are thick. They're thick because I want you to learn about what the deck means, what it could mean, and what all the cards mean according to how I created them. And every author is different. I always go back to my guidebook, even though I wrote the cards and I channeled these cards and I sat on them like I was pregnant with them because they take about 9 months to a year to create. So I spent a lot of time on these Oracle card decks. And so I think I should know what I said in the guidebook, but I'm going to tell you something. Sometimes I've forgotten like a twist of a phrase or a sentence or a word. And so I always reread the guidebook afterwards and going, oh yeah, this is so interesting. This one line only really popped out at me. And so I'm a big guidebook person. You may not be, but I'm the one giving you the information. So start with what I'm offering you and then you decide yourself how you want to work with the cards. Bottom line is, the more you know about the specific Oracle you're working with, the better it can serve you. Because if you can imagine that spirit or the universe, the conscious universe or the goddess or whatever, is learning how to talk to you by the system you've offered them. Basically, you're training each other to have a really accurate conversation. You're saying, this is the system I'm using to speak to you. You only have so many letters. It's like Morse code, right? Remember that in Morse code, there was only so many dots that you could do, da, 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 whatever. Like you basically saying, this is what I have to work with. This many dots, this many bleeps, this many lights, and the universe is going, okay, they want me to only use the animals. I get it. So now, aha, I want to talk to Colette. So Colette is going to start this conversation by igniting synchronicity. And I, the universe, the conscious universe, is going to answer this question by using the system she said I was going to use. So that's why, another reason why you got to know your oracle cards, because you are in a partnership. The deck is your intermediary, the medium through which you communicate with the divine. Get to know it. You will not be sorry. So let me give you an example of how this works. So you've got your deck, I'm using Spirit Animal, and you've pulled one card. I always like to start with one card. I used to do readings of 21 cards, etc. And I have found, as I've created my own oracle cards, that less is more. All right, so you want to pull a card for today, for example. So I'm going to pull a card for today. What do I need to know today to stay in alignment with my highest good? That's always what we start with. Same in my school, we start there with everybody. And it's the easiest way for us to see, like, what's my highest good? Am I off track? Am I on track? So I've picked a card randomly just now. I've turned it over, and it's Antelope Spirit, and it's very funny because it's called Life is Speeding Up, and my husband keeps telling me I'm talking too fast. So pretend I don't know the deck that well. I've just got the deck. It's card number 2. What do? Well, I'm going to look it up in the booklet. Here we go. And my little dog is under my feet right now. And hi, Coco. Here we go. Let's do this. All right, so I will read it. The oracle message says, when Antelope Spirit rushes into your life, you're being reminded of the quickening of your personal evolution as a powerful co-creator. Now, I'm not going to read you the whole thing, so I'm just saying like, oh, I'm going to contemplate that. Why is that important? Well, it's important that I read the guidebook because I need to know what this person wants me to know about the card. But then I go, wow, this applies to my life. And what happens as a result of that? Well, that gives me confirmation. So it gives me real confirmation that this is happening. It's not in my imagination. It's actually in a card. It's actually written in a guidebook. And it's actually proving to me that Spirit and I are in a really wonderful partnership. And so that I can create the reality that I desire and be the best version of myself on a daily basis, no matter what's going on in my life. All right, so now what you want to do is you want to pick a card below, you want to choose that card, and before you read what the card says, I want you to just look at the card. Look at the art. What do you think it says to you when you look at that art? Because the art is always chosen by the author to somehow give you a pictorial of the essence of the meaning of the card, right? So you want to look at that and say, how do I feel about this card? What do I feel like, do, whatever? And then look at the guidance that comes with it, and read that and put the two together, the art plus the guidance. And you'll also start to know how the author and the artist work together. It's just such a fascinating process. And as a result of you doing this, then you're going to start to notice that the whole world starts to be the oracle, and that's the exciting part. Next week, we're going to do another mini lesson all about how to shuffle your deck. Now, you might think that that's easy, but you have no idea how many emails we get from people saying, I don't know how to shuffle my deck. So I'm going to show you how next week. See you then.